How about this for perspective? $10.8 billion. That's how much Broadcom made in AI-related silicon revenue last quarter alone. It's a staggering number, and it's just one of the stories we're unpacking today.
That's wild. And it's not the only headline grabbing attention right now. Let's get into it.
Welcome to DeActa Daily Digest. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Juniper. Here are today's top stories.
Let's kick things off with Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian's recent push to end hostilities with the United States. He's calling for a resolution, while Iran still holds some negotiating leverage. What's fascinating here is how he's framing this as a diplomatic win rather than a concession.
That's exactly what caught my attention, too. Pezeshkian is emphasizing that the terms of the agreement are honorable and valuable, and he's adamant there's no clause that could be seen as surrender. It's a calculated move to maintain both domestic and international credibility.
Right, and he's also making it clear that Iran won't tolerate future aggression. He said, "We will under no circumstances bow to bullying." It's a strong statement, but it also raises questions about how sustainable this balancing act is, pursuing peace while projecting strength.
Especially with the U.S. ramping up economic pressure. The Biden administration is implementing secondary sanctions targeting countries and companies that continue doing business with Iran. That could have major implications for nations like China and India, which are key trade partners for Tehran.
Exactly. And these sanctions are designed to cut off Iran's revenue streams, but Iranian officials have been quick to dismiss their effectiveness. They argue that decades of similar measures haven't forced them into submission. Do you think this new wave of sanctions will actually change anything?
It's hard to say. Analysts are warning that intensifying economic pressure might just entrench Iran's stance further. Pezeshkian's focus on lifting the naval blockade and securing frozen assets suggests that Tehran is trying to position itself as negotiating from a place of strength, not desperation.
And that's a critical distinction. If Iran can sell this as a strategic move rather than a concession, it could help Pezeshkian maintain domestic support. But the ripple effects of these sanctions could strain U.S. relations with other major players like China and India, adding another layer of complexity.
Absolutely, it's a high-stakes situation with no easy answers. Let's shift gears now to our second story, FIFA's disciplinary actions following the World Cup final. This one's got all the drama you'd expect from a global event.
Oh, for sure. The post-match scuffles between Argentina and Spain players have led to some serious penalties. Leandro Paredes, for instance, received a 10-game ban and a $90,000 fine for grabbing Eric Garcia by the throat and pushing Gavi to the ground. That's a massive suspension.
And he's not alone. Nahuel Molina got a 7-game suspension, Thiago Almada got a 1-game ban, and even Spain's Gavi wasn't spared. He'll miss a Nations League match against England. Plus, Argentina's coach Roberto Ayala was suspended for 3 matches. FIFA really came down hard this time.
They did. And the Argentine Football Association was fined $110,000 for various incidents, including players displaying a political banner about the Falkland Islands and discriminatory chants by fans. FIFA also ordered them to allocate $100,000 to anti-racism initiatives. It's a comprehensive set of penalties.
The political banner is particularly interesting. It's not the first time we've seen politics intersect with sports, but it always seems to ignite controversy. And then there's the historical context. These sanctions are being compared to earlier significant punishments like Luis Suarez's suspension in 2014 for biting Giorgio Chiellini.
That's a great comparison. Suarez's suspension was a huge deal at the time, and it set a precedent for how FIFA handles disciplinary issues. In this case, FIFA seems to be sending a strong message that physical altercations and political statements won't be tolerated, especially on the world stage.
True, but it also raises questions about consistency. FIFA has faced criticism in the past for unevenly applying its rules, so it'll be interesting to see how these sanctions are perceived in the long run. And speaking of long-term implications, let's move on to our third story about Broadcom and Marvel. This one's all about tech industry strategies and competition.
This is a fascinating matchup. Broadcom and Marvel are both major players in the AI processor and data center networking space, but they're taking very different approaches. Broadcom is operating at a much larger scale, reporting an all-time quarterly revenue high of $22.2 billion, dollars, with $10.8 billion dollars coming from AI-related silicon. That's a 143% year-over-year increase.
It's impressive, no doubt. And they've got some big partnerships lined up. Multi-generation TPU work with Google, a 1.3 gigawatt deployment tied to OpenAI, and a Meta MTIA program projecting 3 gigawatts of capacity through 2028. Broadcom's diversified mix, including its VMware acquisition, gives it a defensive profile that's hard to beat.
On the other hand, Marvel is taking a more focused approach, zeroing in on optics and custom silicon for hyperscalers. They've been investing heavily in programs like Celestial AI and XCon, and they're projecting significant revenue growth, $16.5 billion by fiscal 2028.
That's true, but Marvel's narrower focus also comes with higher risks. Their elevated valuation and sensitivity to order timing make them more vulnerable to setbacks. It's a classic trade-off. Broadcom offers stability and steady cash flow, while Marvel has higher growth potential but also higher volatility.
Exactly. And the market seems to reflect that. Broadcom's stock recently experienced a pullback, while Marvel's share price has surged year to date. The next few quarters will be crucial for both companies, especially as they execute their respective strategies and navigate the competitive landscape.
It's a reminder of how dynamic and fast-paced the tech industry can be. So, what's your big takeaway from today's stories?
For me, it's the importance of strategy, whether it's Iran trying to balance diplomacy and deterrence, FIFA enforcing its rules on the global stage, or Broadcom and Marvel competing in the tech space. Success often comes down to making the right moves at the right time.
I couldn't agree more, and it's fascinating to see how these strategies play out in such different contexts. Well, that's it for today. Let's see what tomorrow brings.